it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I'm a UK-based independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thank you for joining me again today, and I have to say, in South Oxfordshire today, it is a glorious day. Little nip in the air, frosty this morning, but as I speak, I can't see any clouds in the sky. Long may that continue. At least it means that whilst we are shut behind our front doors, metaphorically speaking, we can get out into the garden if we have a garden. And at least in the UK, you can also get out into the fresh air once a day if you are sensible for your permitted once a day exercise. With that in mind, because it is such a beautiful day, I thought I would dig out the Tropical Oasis suite, or some elements from that. It's in the mini catalogue. Do remember that you can order from me if you would like to. If you're in the UK, there's a link below and over on my website. I'm just trying to find the Tropical Oasis suite. Here we are. It's in the mini catalogue. It's on starts on page 38 and then goes through to page 40. So page 40 has got the stamp set and dies on. Love them. Remember, if you get them as a bundle, you get 10% off each. Some really nice inspiration for you here. There's this lovely, gorgeous pineapple. I never thought I would fall in love with a pineapple, but it's gorgeous. So lots of inspiration there, and then lots more of inspiration on the main page. As ever, in the new mini, we've now got this new way of seeing what colours are in the suite. So lots is the answer to that one. We do not have the saddle brown stays on ink, certainly in the UK, because of customs issues. And what I'm going to be focusing on today is actually the Memories and More pack and the Designer Series paper. And I will be bringing in a little bit of the braided burlap trim, but I'm not doing any stamping today. This is going to be really quick card making. The Royal Mail in the UK is still running, so this is a great time to send out a crafty hug. So make some handmade cards, get them out to all your friends and families, and yeah, keep in touch with people with good old-fashioned stuff, writing, those sorts of things, rather than just relying on social media. Social media is great, and it's a better way to keep in touch than not at all. But anyway, so this is the beautiful Designer Series paper. I'm doing one card that includes this and one card that doesn't. It's got what I would call solids, so I would think of this palm tree pattern as a solid. It's got, again, with the pineapples, it's got some really bright, fun, summery patterns. I mean, just gorgeous. They're not all bright. I mean, this is quite subtle. Really lovely soft suede and early espresso background. I love these cars. My aunt used to have an old Morris van or minivan, and it was one of these ones with the wood. I love it. But yeah, so there we go. I never thought I would actually fall in love with this paper, but I adore it. I have got lots. But I'm also looking at the Memories and More pack. I love this pack. It's great for memory keeping, absolutely, but it's also good for cards. There are 2 sticker sheets, 2 of each of the 2 sticker sheets. So you've got some words and you've got labels and just little iconography. And then this amazing, amazing pack of Memories and More cards. And one of the cards that I'm going to show you how to make today uses the Memories and More cards. So these are just great. So they've got some that have already got words on, so you literally can just stick and go. But really bright, really summery. I know it's the tropics, and for most of us, the chances of going anywhere hot in the foreseeable future is not great, but we can at least embrace that feel with some of our card making. So that's most of the pack. I have to say I'm really bad. I buy the Memories and More packs and then forget to use them. So I'm going to correct that right now. So you can also get packs of assorted memories and more cards and envelopes. These are perfectly sized. You get 10 in the large size and 10 in the small size. You get 20 in all with matching envelopes, and they are perfect. All you have to do is stick and go. So that's the first card that I'm going to show you. So I've got one of the large memories and more cards. They are scored. Always fold, what I say is fold towards the mountain. I've picked out this Hugs, Kisses and Good Vibe Wishes. That's not what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the flamingos. This will amuse some of my team because I have this reputation for not really liking flamingos. And it dates back to when I was at it was my first onstage live, and one of the prize patrols, onstage live, for those of you who are not demonstrators, is a demonstrator exclusive event. We have on stage now once a year, and it's normally the launch of a catalogue, and we get to see all the new products. We get business talks, we get creative talks, all sorts of things. And there is normally what we call prize patrol. And there was a stamp set that was launched, which you may remember, called the Fabulous Flamingo. And I won that. And of all the prize patrols that there were, it was the one I really didn't want. It's not that I don't like flamingos. I do like flamingos. I just wanted one of the others, as much as anything, because the only thing you could do with the flamingos really was stamp a flamingo. And I like stamp sets that you can normally do a bit more with. So that's how I got this reputation for not really liking flamingos. It wasn't my favourite stamp set at the time, although as it happens, it became one of my favourite stamp sets, probably because I wanted to prove to myself as much as anyone that I could use any stamp set. So I used it quite a lot. But it has become a bit of a thing, as these things tend to. So bone fold is always really good for making sure you get a nice crisp fold. If you find that you've got one edge that is slightly longer than the other, I would always put that on the front, because then it's much easier to open the card. So all I need, I've got my flamingos. I'm going to pop those onto the front of my card, and you can see, so this is 4x6. You can see that there's just this nice little surrounding edge of the Whisper White. This is a Whisper White based card rather than a very vanilla. My brain went there. So absolutely perfect for this. If you want, you can obviously make a mat to go around it as well, but I'm quite happy just to stick this straight onto my card. I am going to be adding to it, so it's not just going to be the Memories and More card, although there is nothing wrong. If you were using that side, you could just stick that down. Instant card. So if you want really, really quick cards, just stick them down. You can't do it with all of the designs, but you can do it with quite a lot of them. So that is my first layer down. And I've picked out this card, which has Tropical State of Mind, and I thought I would just add that there. Might lift it up a bit, actually. Yeah. And I'm also going to add, I wasn't going to, but I'm going to, I've just decided I am. I've got this bit of braided burlap. I'm going to add that so that a little bit sticks out either side. So I'll get that sorted out first. So I don't need much. Paper snips would be useful. So I'm just going to cut an inch, ish. And I'll use that for something else in a moment. And then I'm going to just take short length, and I mean literally a short length, 1/2 inch of tear and tape, and pop that on there. And should have taken 2 pieces at once, of course, that would have been sensible. Another 1/2 inch of tear and tape. And again, bone folder is great for making sure that it's really stuck down. And then I'm just going to grab my ruler. I'm going to line my card up against my grid line, so I've got it lined up against this grid paper here. Pop my my small Memories and More card on, and I'm going to have it so that it's basically the same space all the way around the top 3 edges, and then I'll have my wider bit at the bottom, and then that is where I'm going to put my burlap. So I'll have my ruler in place, remove my card, and then I can take the backing off, and then just make sure I've got the sticky bit at the right end. Pop it, I'm going to have it so that it comes over to the edge of the card. Pop one piece down. It will shrink in a minute. I know, the thought that I can get ribbon to shrink. It's not really ribbon, is it? It's trim. And again, I'm going to come over and have that coming to the edge the other side. So that is now in place and is, you know, as good as it's going to be even. And what I'm going to do is then, before I stick the other card down, is just fluff the end so that it's frayed. And do that on both sides. And get rid of the bits of fibre that have come off. Grab my dimensionals, and I'll get 5, I think. So 1 in the middle and 1 at each corner. And then again, lining that up so that it's by eye even all the way round, and we have our card. As quick as that. Now, obviously, you could add extra bits. So there's the tropical trinkets, so you could add one of those, you know, whatever you wanted to do. I'm going to leave it at that because that is a perfectly good card. You've got all this lovely space to write in. If you've got the stamp set, obviously you can add, or any stamp set, you can add a greeting inside. You don't have to have this stamp set. If you have this stamp set, then you could stamp on the envelope, you could stamp on the inside as well. But I want this the point I'm trying to make is that anyone can make this. You don't need to be crafty. You just need to be able to stick one piece of card to another piece of card, and that's basically all you need to be able to do. Great for really quick projects. But if you have got more supplies, I am going to introduce a piece of cardstock and a second piece of cardstock, a piece of designer series paper, and another of the cards. So I'm going to use this card on top. It's a journaling card if you were using it for memory keeping. We also need a liner because writing on Mango Melody, which is what this is not impossible, but it's going to be a bit eye-watering. So I've got half a sheet of A4, which I've scored it in the middle and then just cut it in half. By scoring it in the middle and then cutting it means I get 2 card blanks for 1 score and 1 cut, rather than 2 card blanks for 1 cut and 2 scores. Again, as I say, if there's one side slightly longer than the other, just have the longer side at the front. Early espresso, if you want, you can gut that. I'm not going to bother at this point because this is about quicker crafting. So pop your early espresso. Measurements will be on my website. There's a link to that below. While I'm putting this together, do remember that you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am going to start doing some lives both here and on Facebook to help get us through the enforced staying at home. So you may want to subscribe to my YouTube, and the link to my business page and my craft community are both below. Those are my Facebook pages. So you may want to like or join those. Again, I'm adding some adhesive. I like to put adhesive on the card. If I'm using designer series paper, I like to put it on the card, not the designer series paper, because it is less likely to warp the paper. The paper. I don't use a lot. I only use a small amount of glue. You only need the very smallest amount of this glue. Having said that, I have stocked up on snail and glue just in case we have a problem getting orders through. At the moment, everything is coming through from our warehouse in Germany really quickly. And by that, I mean really quickly. I would say they're probably a day, if not 2 days ahead of where I would normally expect them to be. I think because people kind of went into panic mode when this first came up, and so didn't place orders, and I think things are beginning now to pick up a bit. That's not to say I don't want your orders if you're in the UK, because I do. I have taken a little bit of a hit. So again, I'm going to just put a little piece of the braided burlap coming out the side, and let's cut them so they are basically the same length. And I'm going to do the same basic process, except this time I'm going to stick them onto the back of the card, because I've got lines, so I might as well use them. So let me grab again a small piece of tear and tape, and I want it towards the bottom. I don't like things in the middle. I think it looks too meant, so I'm going to come down a wee bit. So I don't know, about there. It's a real by eye. So one piece of tear and tape there, and another piece of tear and tape on the opposite side. And as I say, because we've got the grid lines on the journaling card, really easy to line up. Again, I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that's adhered properly. Peel off the backing. And, ooh, come along. Let's try a different corner. There we go. So peel off the backing and then just add your piece of burlap to that. And that side looks a little more frayed already, so I will use that as the outside edge. Can come back in a little bit. There we go. So those are even. I can fray that end out again, fray this end out, and again just pick up some dimensionals, one in each corner, one in the middle, and we have really quick crafting again. So have a look and see what memories and more cards you've already got. If you don't have any, I would be thrilled if you chose to order through me. Anyone who orders through me gets a thank you card and gift, and if you use the host code, which is below and on my website, you get to share in the host rewards as well. So I pick something to send you and everyone gets the same thing. So yeah, and of course remember, Celebration is still on, so £45 or multiple thereof is a qualifying order. So yeah, I'm actually going to use snail just to show that I do. So do think about stocking up on Celebration items, particularly now we've got the third release, and they are items from our normal inventory, which I will just put a little bit in the middle as well, just to keep that from wobbling. So we've got all sorts of things like designer series paper, we've got some of our packaging, a real range of items that you can choose. So do have a look at those. Details of those are over on my website on the catalogue page. So there you are, 2 really quick cards, no stamping at all. All I did was a bit of gluing and a bit of cutting. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I will be going back to some more normal, what I would call normal projects. I'm going to try and drop in some quick and easy projects that normally would be, accessible for non-crafters. So it's a nice entry point. But I'm also going to do some lives, as I've mentioned, and, do some more casual and avid crafting projects as well. But I did want to have a bit of a sort of sudden boost of more entry-level crafting, so that people who have suddenly found they've got all this time on their hands has something to do, some ideas of how to get creative. So I hope you have enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing in the bottom right hand corner. Questions or comments, you can leave those below, or you can go over to my website and leave comments there. I will have the dimensions of this on my website. The blog post that goes with this is linked below, and it's called the Associated Blog Post. It's a funny codey thing. It's got wp.me and then some numbers. That takes you straight to this blog post. No need to find the date. It's just going to be there. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you keep well. Someone mentioned to me recently, or I saw it on Facebook or something, there was a comment about our grandparents were asked to go to war. We've been asked to wash our hands and sit on our sofas. I think we can manage that, so let's be safe, let's be sensible, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye!